Also, a very warm welcome from my side. My name is Stefan Lahr, and I'm working in the customer experience and solutions area of SAP. And there I am responsible for the coordination of the rollout activities for the SAP Focused Run product globally. So for the session today, I have prepared the following agenda, the usual disclaimer. Okay, we can go over that. Also the ALM Summit hashtag, important. So if you want to post something to your social media, use this hashtag. This is highly welcome. Good. Coming now to the agenda. As I said, I have prepared 3 points. First of all, I would like to give you an overview where we are from the release strategy point of view with the SAP Focused Run product. And then I would try to deep dive into 2 areas where we have important news. This is the advanced system management and in the area of the advanced event and alert management. So let's start with an overview. The release strategy from SAP Focused Run, it has not changed. So basically we are delivering 2 feature packs per year. We deliver 4 feature packs before we have a release change. So currently, since the second quarter of 2020, we are in the market live with Focused Run 2.0 feature pack 03. And the next release will come in the end of this year. So we expect November, maybe December of 2020 to have then a major release. And this means that we go from Focused Run 2.0 to Focused Run 3.0 SP00 then again. With this strategy, then our customers has every time the 1 year time to switch from one Focused Run release to the next year. We will mainly focus on the news that are in Focused Run 2.0 feature pack 03 now for this session, but I will also try to give you already an outlook to Focused Run 3.0, especially in the area of the open component monitoring. I have prepared I have recorded the demo from a system that is in an intermediate status so that you also can get a glimpse of what is planned here and what can you expect with Focused Run 3.0. Good. Back to the SAP Focused Run basics. I have still added this slide to the presentation because there is still some confusion on customer side regarding this product. So I want to make it again very clear that SAP Focused Run is not an add-on to Solution Manager. We have addressed this issue, so this confusion, by changing the official name of the product. Maybe you remember it was until beginning of this year named Focused Run for SAP Solution Manager. This caused a lot of this confusion. So we have rebranded the product, and since the beginning of this year now it's officially named SAP Focused Run. And we hope now that step by step this confusion can be solved. So it is not an add-on to Solution Manager, as I said. So it's a separated product that is based on HANA. This you see also here on the bottom of the slide, the technology foundation. There, the Focused Run system consists of the SAP HANA database and the SAP NetWeaver ABAP stack only. So also here you see already there are major differences to the SAP Solution Manager. In fact, there is no J2E engine, there's no CRM, no DBA cockpit, even the system landscape directory is optional, no CRM, no BW, all these components we have excluded from the product. On top of this, then the application foundation, and also here, even if you know the components from the Solution Manager, and if you also know the functionality, it could be similar from the functionality point of view on the Focused Run product, but keep in mind that this has to be completely redeveloped and redesigned so that this can really leverage all the advantages that the HANA database is offering. So also on Focused Run, you find the landscape management database, the entity that keeps the complete model of the managed system landscape, receiving the data via inside discovery from the SLD data suppliers and outside discovery via the SAP host agent. This brings me to the agent area. Also here, we have dramatically changed the concept as you know it from Solution Manager. We have completely redeveloped an agent to collect the data. We name it in the Focused Run context a simple diagnostics agent that in fact can be seen as a plug-in of the SAP host agent. SAP host agent is responsible for starting, stopping, and maintenance of the simple diagnostics agent, also fully automatically here. The rest of the components, we have the monitoring alerting infrastructure also on Focused Run. Monitoring is based on template settings that is predefined from the threshold point of view, from the matrix that should be collected point of view, also from the alert calculation methods here. And we have the simple system integration. This is the replacement from managed system configuration, technical monitoring configuration. If you know it from Solution Manager here in Focused Run, this is fully automated and covered via this application. On top, the different use cases. So Focused Run is scoping on the technical aspects of the daily operation of a mid-size and huge landscape, and serving also for customers that have advanced needs. This means customers that have the requirement for use cases that cannot be provided by Solution Manager. For example, here, real user monitoring, where we provide a functionality that allows to monitor each and every real user request execution from a performance point of view. Yes, I think this should give a short introduction of the concept and make it clear that this product is completely different to Solution Manager. Nevertheless, they can run both in parallel. So we see customers that have the Solution Manager using then project documentation, change request management, service desk functionality, all the functionality that is not in scope of Focused Run. And then they are using in parallel the Focused Run for the technical aspects, so all the run components that are in scope of Focused Run. Good. With this, coming to what's new in Focused Run with release 2.0 feature pack 3. You see we have heavily invested in this feature pack, and we have changes and new features, new components in almost all the areas. And to summarize this, it was also given by my colleague in the previous session today in the morning. We have changes in the open component monitoring areas. There I will go deeper into the details in a moment. But we also have in the area of job monitoring, the monitoring improved for on-premise ABAP jobs by setting the possibility to easily select jobs over, also if they are running on different systems for an semi-automated monitoring. Then in fact, we have tried to automate this to 100% so that a configuration effort for the job monitoring is as less as possible. Then the real user monitoring news, we have new topology requests dashboard or page that was often requested by customers. So also this is now implemented. We have news in the area of root cause analysis by improved Open KPI store. So in general, our infrastructure is able to receive metrics from the outside world via this functionality. And you can analyze then this matrix in the views of the system analysis application in Focused Run. This is a wide area of possibilities that you have here. So it can be used for integrating metrics that comes from third-party monitoring applications. It could come from sensors that you have in an Internet of Things environment, and so on. So really have a wide range of possibilities, and we are providing you with the chance to integrate such data into Focused Run. Coming to the other side then of the screen here, so the changes in configuration and security analysis. Also here, major things that were based on customer feedback. So you can schedule the execution of policies, validation policy executions, so that the result is calculated in a frequent manner, and during the runtime, if you request then the report via the UI, then it comes up quite fast because we save the time for the calculation. And also this is the basis for a planned trend analysis that will come then with the next releases of Focused Run. So also here the changes are ongoing. In the area of alert management, I will come to more details than directly in this session. So the further points that I have mentioned here on the slides are related to changes in the analytics area. There we have improved system monitoring use case for the tactical dashboards, and for the operation control center dashboards, we have provided now new data providers and new renderers, as also has been shown in the demo from my colleague in the previous session. So that you come to pretty nice looking overviews, dashboards that gives you impressions about the health status of the complete landscape, combining the data from the different use cases. So data can be combined coming from open component monitoring with data from system monitoring or real user monitoring, for example, so that you get in one view a complete picture over the data that are in scope. Good. With this, coming to the news that I want to scope here on in this session, and starting with the open component monitoring. The open component monitoring application, as I said, we have heavily invested in this with the feature pack 3. And it works every time for use cases where you do not have, or where the template concept for monitoring is not sufficient. Now, this is every time the case if you have a minor change, even in a homogeneous landscape. Imagine you have a homogeneous landscape, but each of the systems that you want to monitor has a different URL, then this template concept would not pretty much match here and meet the expectations. So therefore, the open component monitoring, as well as for components that do not have an inside or outside discovery, and therefore not being modeled in the landscape management database, which is usually the case for third-party components. So also for this, we are fully aware that on customer side, the landscape most of the time is not consisting of 100% SAP components, but there are also third-party components. And of course, it is also essential and important to integrate them into your monitoring concept. You can do this very easily with the open component monitoring in Focused Run for the listed features and capabilities. So for example, to reach an very fast availability monitoring, you can use the ping mechanisms that we offer for URL access. If you have an application, any third-party applications that offers URL access or is based on HTTP access, then we can ping this frequently, and we can monitor the HTTP response code so that you see in the application, yes, application ABC, it's available, and therefore can be used by our end users. Same for host availability monitoring. Here we are using a ping that we send via a simple diagnostics agent that is available in the network segment, and monitor then the reply so that you come to the conclusion from a network perspective, the third-party host is available and should work as expected. We can also monitor the availability of TCP port and RFC connections. We are also monitoring HTTPS certificate expiration, so how many days are left for the HTTP certificate until this would expire. We can also monitor on third-party components, what is the status of certain Windows services, are they started, stopped running. Also, this we can do for operating system processes. For this, we need the SAP host agent on the third-party components so that we can gather this data here. Also included in the open component monitoring is the possibility to monitor operating system script execution results. So this again gives a wide range of possibilities. You can script whatever you have in mind, and then we can monitor that the script has been executed. And if this script returns a value, we can also monitor the value and set the status in the monitoring application accordingly. And last but not least, also log file monitoring is provided, where you can search for a certain word in a log file, and when this gets found by the application, then you trigger an information, you trigger a status in the open component monitoring. Good. The new features in this concept and these applications mainly have been listed already in the previous session as well. Some more details here. We have enhanced with the feature pack 3 of Focused Run 2.0 the housekeeping. It can be direct checked now in the application for the status of the background jobs, and also you can check here if the data is deleted regularly, so that you keep here the space that is occupied fully under control. We have also implemented a new attribute overview. So during the configuration of a metric, you could every time specify already attributes and sub-attributes. Now we have a dedicated view that is based on this information and groups the matrix then accordingly. We also have then the possibility to confirm alerts automatically when an availability metric is changed or deleted. This is, for example, the case if you change something in the customer network or in the technical system context, or also if a certain availability metric is deleted, then we automatically close all the alerts because nobody will take care of them anymore. Then we also have new TCP Availability Matrix. We have enhanced here the settings that you can define during the configuration. So it is now possible to specify a timeout period in which the data collector expects a response from the monitored host. And also the number of retries can be defined now, so that you can define how often data collector calls the monitored host and the corresponding TCP port of the host before it says it has been failed, and therefore the TCP port is set to the status of not being available. And also in the area of RFC availability matrix, we have enhanced the capabilities that you have during the configuration based on customer feedback. So especially here, we have added basic authentication capabilities. So you can, in the configuration, define the user and password for the connectivity check. You can also make this based on a certain client that is used for the authentication. And also here we have now integrated the timeout period settings and the number of retry settings. It is also possible now to download the data as an Excel file out of the Open Component Monitor. Also, this has been requested quite often from customers. It makes it more comfortable than to save the data. You can put your own analysis on this data in an Excel format if you like, and you can save it also for reporting to your management for a longer time frame. And you can also now suppress the alert during planned downtime. So planned downtimes that are set during the work mode via the work mode management, that is also accessible via the IT calendar. So here we have reached a new level of integration of the different use cases in Focused Run. Good. This was more or less the deep dive of the news that came with feature pack 3 of Focused Run 2.0. I would like to give you now a demo that I have recorded for what we have in mind for this application with Focused Run 3.0 SP0 then. And for this, I have a recorded demo here available, and I would like to show it. Keep in mind that this is an intermediate status. So this is still under development. But I would like to show you also here the concept change that we have in mind for this application. First of all, with Focused Run 3.0, we plan to introduce a new category of use cases, which is then named Advanced Application Management. And to this new group, we will assign then the job monitoring, the IT calendar, work mode management, service availability management, and also the open component monitoring as you know it now. And because we have there for the open component monitoring concept change in mind, we also changed the name of this. It will be named then Health Monitoring application. And what is in it then, I will show to you. So let's click on the tile for the health monitoring, and then we open it with the scope that is selected. So you see the intermediate status here of the open component monitoring. You still see the detailed navigation on the left side. You see already the new name on top of the health monitoring. And I'm opening now the application that will serve or that will provide the main functionality of this health monitoring. And you see here, when we go to the health monitoring, you see the specified matrix based on the certain customer that is monitored, the destinations that has been given to the configuration, the attributes that I have already mentioned, also this we take over. And then we have a rating for the health status of the components. I will show you in a moment on which matrix this is based on. And then if there are certain alerts and the message that has been taken into consideration for the metric evaluation here, and that has specified during the configuration. So if I go now and search for a certain, or click on a certain component, then you see here we have now metrics that are collected to evaluate the health status of this component. Here in this example, it is a Kubernetes system. So you see the data for the system is collected now. So you see different CPU consumptions for different namespaces, in fact, for different containers of the, or pods of the Kubernetes basic architecture. And you find for all of these metrics now the corresponding rating. And with this, we are able to give an overall impression about the health status of this Kubernetes system here in this example. The data are possible to group, for example, by the namespace, so that you get now, if you have different containers, different pods in your Kubernetes systems, and you can group it accordingly and see then CPU, memory, and namespace data and status information per container, per pod of the Kubernetes system. Also possible then for each of the metrics that has been collected to call the metric monitor. So a metric monitor can show more than one metric already, as you see here in this example. And also here then you can navigate and adjust or start your investigation as you know already. So you can set a certain time frame, you can change the resolution of the data then, and yes, use this to start an investigation and see if a certain situation is a one-time occurrence, is a spike in the measurement, or if there is really a tendency already that worth it to further investigate. Back to the metric list. Also, I want to show you another example of the capabilities of this health monitoring that goes in direct to monitoring of a cloud platform integration component. So public cloud application integration component, actually, which is usually very important to monitor in an integration scenario, but also from a more basic monitoring aspect. As you can see here, it is important to monitor health status based on data that we receive now from cloud platform integration regarding JMS queue providers, queue numbers, consumers, queue capacities, and so on. And also for this, we are able then to use the built-in functionalities, for example, to sort the data for the most critical rating, as it is here now showing, and then investigate on the rating that is not showing a healthy status via the metric monitor with the features that I have presented already before. Good. With this, I hope you got an impression of the already existing news in the area of open component monitoring, and with this demo also about the direction in which we are going to further enhance this functionality and provide you new features with Focused Run 3.0 in this area. And coming now to the next area where I wanted to do a deep dive, this is the alert management. For alert management, the news that I would like to scope here on is the alert correlation. So what we see on customer side is a situation, especially for bigger landscapes, that the customers are overloaded with the amount of alerts. This is also named an alert flooding. So more alerts that can be handled by the system administrators anymore. Therefore, the alerts will be open, unattended in the alert inbox. Nobody takes care of this. And finally, you lose the impression that this is really critical, or you have not even the chance to data mine what is a really critical alert that you have to immediately taking care of, and what are the alerts that you simply cannot handle because it's too much anymore. This is also related to the fact that we create several alerts which has maybe only one root cause. So to give you here an example, if you have a certain monitor that is monitored, or the monitoring detects that this host is not available, then you will get a first alert for this. Then maybe there are running 2 instances of a bigger system that is spread over further instances and further hosts. Then you would most likely also get a performance degradation, so that you get at least a yellow warning for the whole on the system layer. And for the instances that are running on the host, you would also get a third alert that is a certain instance is not available. And you can go further if you think of that this is integrated in an integration monitoring scenario, you would get an alert. And if this is maybe also integrated in a real user monitoring scenario, also there you would get alerted. So you have 5, 6, 7 alerts, and the one that is important is that a certain host is not available. And therefore, we found that the alert correlation could help with this problem by correlating these alerts where the events or symptoms belonging to the same problem. So this is what we want to summarize, and where we want to present them then in the Focused Run system, in the Advanced Event and Alert Management, so that you get a dramatically reduced amount of alerts, anyway giving you the possibility then to drill down in such a correlated, we name it alert cluster then, drill down and see each single component that has been correlated and investigate on the one that has been triggering the alert. So with this, beside the reduction of the alerts occurrence, we also think that it's possible for the administrator to scope and focus on the most important problems without that he has any distractions by parallel work streams. Should avoid double work and associated costs to this, and also from the support organization structuring, this should have advantages, since you can save most likely second and third level resources, because the first investigation on a clustered alert can be already executed by the first level resources in the environment. Good. Different concepts that are in our minds to come to an alert correlation. There is to name the horizontal approach and the vertical approach. To give you also here some more background details. So for the horizontal alert correlation, we assume that an alert should be correlated over a specific time, so that you can summarize or that you correlate alerts that are presenting flickering status, so going to change the status from red to green, yellow, and vice versa in a short time, that you find, for example, if you have a too tight threshold settings to a certain alert. Then also related to this horizontal alert correlation concept is the grouping of different sources. So this means that alerts are coming from different monitoring use cases and build a logical unit then. So this could be based on alerts that comes from system monitoring and integration monitoring, and also including then external alerts that are imported via inbound adapter. This could also build up a horizontal alert chain that we can correlate on them. And also different alerts of the same managed object belong to this group. So for example, a Sybase database availability will cause also alerts for the availability of the job scheduler and the backup server. And also this could be correlated then. Another concept is then the vertical alert correlation, and this is more or less what I have explained to you in wording before, so that we here then allow to correlate alerts from different sources and on different levels. So like the example I gave you, if a certain host is not available, that this is then vertically going up to the instances on the host, to the system, and so on. Good. Also here, the approaches that are available is top-down, so correlation of alerts for instances or systems running on a certain host, or bottom-up, so correlation of alerts belonging to the same system, and also on network layer by creation of a context family that creates the alerts that are coming from different systems that shares a common component, like in a disaster recovery scenario. So also this is possible to correlate, and you will later see that we have already created a rule or an attribute that is named the context family that takes this already into consideration. This brings me direct to the next slide. So what is already built in and available in the area of alert correlation with SAP Focused Run? So we have predefined rules that are based on customer-specific alert analysis, and we ship them as our best practices. The expression for this I have named already is the context family, where we take into consideration also high availability scenarios, bring them together, and you can assign this as an alert attribute for your correlation. Then it's possible to have multiple rules active, and in this case, then the first matching rule will be used. The rule ordering can be influenced by drag and drop during the maintenance. We have a special application for this that is available direct in the advanced event and alert management, but also comes with a separated tile so that you can launch it direct from the launchpad. And the rule configuration options for the vertical correlation can be dependent on host, technical system, or context family. And for the horizontal approach, time-based, then for flickering alerts with the configuration of the overlap time, so that you include all these alert instances into one correlated alert. Also this, I would like to show you how this looks like on the system. So for this, I go out again and show you this in a demo. So here you see now the Launchpad. We are accessing the alert management application from advanced event and alert management section of the Focused Run system. After selecting a certain scope, then we enter into the application that shows you the graphical information about the alert conditions of the certain components. So it shows you which components are triggering the most alerts, which components are affected by the alerts, but also for how long certain alerts are open in the system without that someone has assigned a dedicated activity to it. Coming now to the direct built-in configuration, there you see when we click on this icon, we have the correlation rules. And here you find the ones that are so far available in this scenario. So context family is active, but also correlation over system IDs and over availability are here already defined, currently in status unactive. And here you can now also go and create your own, you can edit the existing rules by simply go into this application, or you can create complete new rule here. And then you give an identifier, you give a name for your rule, and then you select the attribute predefined, as I said already here, available. You can select them out of this attribute list, for example, the context family, and then you can on top specify the time if you want, so over which time frame the corresponding alert instances should be correlated. And in addition, you can here in the lower sections and also specify filter and make this now dependent for a certain technical system. Or you can exclude now alerts of category configuration, for example, as this has been done for the ones that are existed already. And all other alerts that match with this rule then will be correlated and will be displayed as one correlated alert in the UI. This is what you see here, direct on the screen. So alert cluster, there you see all the correlated alerts. You can click direct on this, then you see the different instances of correlated alerts. And in this list, then you can select one. And with this click, then you have direct access to the cluster components, so to the alerts that belongs to the same context family here in this case. And you see in this example now, all 4 alerts have been changed to the status red. This would normally mean you have 4 alerts in the alert inbox. Here now they are correlated, and therefore you have one correlated alert only that is displayed and where you can start from your analysis. To do the analysis then, you have also here the different options of assigning an activity. So you can add a comment, you can assign a processor, and so on. Further investigations then is possible, like from any not correlated alert, so every alert instance can be clicked on, and then you see for this particular alert the timely behavior. You see the matrix for this alert that has been taken into consideration, and what was the status of which matrix has triggered actually the alert. All the usual information can be seen then here. Also, if there is a certain guided procedure that was assigned and has been executed automatically, also this is, of course, possible and also visible here in the alert management application. Showing you again the activities that can now be triggered for a certain alert. So this is the lowest level of information that you receive. Good. With this, back to the slides. And further information, so with this I would come to the end of the presentation and of the session. There's a new open SAP course available since September 29th. So it's named SAP Cloud ALM in a nutshell. This presentation, this slide, this information you will find in all of our sessions. So take a look on it. If this is interesting for you, assign to it and participate in this open SAP course. Saying this, I would like to thank you for your participation. Thank you and goodbye.